Welcome to 9 Bob Note with Paul Isles-Rush and Ken Moss.
Hello and welcome to 9 Bob Note. I'm Paul.
And I'm Ken.
Hello, Ken.
Hello, Paul.
We've dragged ourselves back into the studio and put the lovely warm Glenthorne Villas.
Yes, we've got the fire alight and the heating on and the gin poured.
And you're in the driving seat, so what have we got for this week?
Coronation Street.
Ah.
Now, it is 65 years on the 9th of December.
Yes.
Since it first started. I'm not a Corrie fan, gotta be honest. I certainly don't watch it now. I've watched the odd bursts of it in the past. But the other night we watched the very first episode, just on a because I think it's one of the best half hours of TV ever committed to film. I don't know whether you've ever seen it.
Oh yes, a few times.
Yeah, and I just think it's magical, like a little snapshot of time of how terrace streets were in years gone by. Sort of. But the general characters are there, and having lived among them, that is actually true. I just wondered what your thoughts were on Coronation Street and what it's meant to you, because I know that you have been or still are a Corrie fan, aren't you?
Yes, yeah, I do watch it religiously. And yeah, I really like it. I've always liked it. There's been spells where, just because it's on so much, and it takes up, it's quite a commitment.
What is it on these days? Because it went up to something stupid like 4 or 5 days a week at one point, didn't it?
Yeah, it's on at the moment 3 times a week, but they're hour-long episodes.
Hour?
Yeah, but in January, it's going 5 nights a week, but just for half an hour. So there's going to be slightly less, but it's going to be on every day.
It's still quite a commitment, that.
Yeah.
Committing to half an hour of TV a day.
It will help to fill the gaping chasm that's left by Neighbours when that finishes next week.
Oh, is it next week? I know that it was Amazon Paul.
Yes. Well, yeah, I've always enjoyed Coronation Street, and I am enjoying it very much at the moment. It has changed a lot since the first episode 65 years ago, and there's a lot of nostalgia. And when you speak to people, and I'm sure it's something that you will come to later in this episode, and it's not what it used to be. But I think it's necessarily changed, because if it was the same as it was in 1960 today, we'd probably very much enjoy it. But
the youth might not.
Yeah, so there does have to be something. It does still have that northern charm. It's always been about the strong battle axe women characters, and they still have that, possibly not to the same extent. And there's a lot more issue-led storylines, and there's a gay in every house.
Well, this is Manchester.
Well, exactly. Yeah, it's realistic if nothing else. But yeah, it's fun. It gets criticised for when it goes through sort of dark, the grittier stuff. But I think it kind of handles those things very well because it balances it with the silly stuff.
Because I've got to be honest, I saw a brief bit of it. I can't remember when it was. I think it was actually I just watched some 60s episodes for the Exton Moss experiment. And I just thought, well, come on, it's on ITVX. Let's have a dip in and have a look.
See if we can catch up.
It was horrible. It was just so grim and unrelentingly. There was none of the comedy characters were in it. There was no Percy Sugdens or Hilda Ogdens or anything like that, or Jack and Vera. There was none of those light touch characters to balance it out. It was just all grim and unremitting. They were all roughly the same age, sort of either middle-aged and younger. So you've none of the older characters. Rita's probably still in it.
Of course.
She's immortal, Rita, so she'll never die. They couldn't even kill her off with a tram.
Twice.
So I know Emily's long. I think the last time Emily appeared, she was on Zoom, wasn't she, or something like that.
Yeah. She did leave and then just never came back. She took a break and it just turned into a permanent.
Yeah.
And obviously a lot of the characters who were the younger characters when we were younger are now the older characters. I mean, even the likes of Tracy Barlow, who is probably around about the same age that we are.
She must be.
Yeah. But she's now one of the, not one of the older characters, but one of the more established characters. How Steve MacDonald and so they're turning into the comedy, the comedy element. David Platt, who is possibly the funniest out of the whole bunch. He's just, the actor's got great comic timing, but they give him all the best lines because he can just do it. And I think a couple of years ago, it did have a bit of where they had the whoever was in charge at the time was like, oh well, what people want is a Northern EastEnders, and made it very, like as you say, unrelentingly grim. But that started to be peeled away, and you're getting the old fun element back.
Yeah, you need a Reg Holdsworth, a Betty Turpin and a Bet Lynch behind the bar. You need all that. Who's behind the bar these days?
Well, it's just a new family have just bought the Rovers, but...
Are they mixed race?
No, no, they're not. Well, actually, they are mixed race because he's Irish.
They get everywhere.
Yeah. It's a character who was in it a few years ago, Eva Price. She's the sister of Leanne Battersby.
It's ringing a vague bell,
she
yeah.
was maybe about 10 years ago. But her and her husband have just bought it, and so they've moved in. But his mother, who now plays the archetypal interfering mother-in-law character, is played by, I can't remember her actual name, but it's Mrs. Doyle from Father Ted.
Pauline McLean?
Yes, yeah.
I might have to dip in there.
Yeah, she's quite good because she's just interfering, like making little bitchy comments about the daughter-in-law. So I think the idea of bringing those in, they've got kids of different ages, and they've not been brought in they've got a dark past or anything like that. They've just been brought in as a family who actually quite like each other. And
never.
Yeah.
Can't be true.
Yeah, and they want the Rovers to be a success, and they're putting community events on. And I think that's kind of a way to, get back the old community feel. So, yeah.
Oh, I hope so. Because I was, like I said, I've never been the biggest fan of it. But years and years ago, either early 90s or late 80s, Mum and Dad took us to the Granada Studios tour. And you got to walk down the street as it was then. And it was... you couldn't help but be captivated by this programme that was recorded down the road and then broadcast up and down the country. And even if you didn't watch it, you recognised all the landmarks.
Yeah.
So I had a brief dalliance with it once we came home from that. And I went to the Coronation Street set. I can't, for the life of me, work out why they ever shut that down, because it was always packed.
Yeah.
They had the set there, the old set that they demolished, not even to build the new set. They just demolished it.
Yeah.
Because where it is now, I think it's at least the third location where there's been a permanent outdoor set.
Yeah.
That always struck me as a bit peculiar, because I thought, you've got this cash cow here that, and a piece of history. It's not something you can ever get back. Because the original Coronation Street set the outdoor set was made out of cardboard inside. And one of the houses in one of the storylines in the 60s collapsed in the middle of the row.
Yeah. And so there was just a gap in the street.
For quite a while, as I recall, yeah.
Yeah, it's the new set in Salford. It's huge. Because they built pretty much the whole of Weatherfield, obviously.
Well, there's more streets now, and the Rosamond Street's in it, and then around the corner is it Bridge Street, or that's at the end of the street.
Victoria Street, and the precinct. That's where the rough people live. But yeah,
not a stereotype at all.
No, not at all. But yeah, it is. I get what you mean about when you do watch the first episode. I mean, if I showed the first episode of Coronation Street to, say, my kids, they just... well, I just don't know.
I can imagine the reaction and how long it would take them to walk out of the room.
Yeah. But it is good because it was true, wasn't it? Nobody got murdered in the first episode. I think it was probably about 6 months before someone died. And even then, it was something. It wasn't a serial killer or anything like that.
No, I think it was just somebody here. They just died, I think, or they might even have died off screen. But it was, yeah. Getting back to the theme of the pod, gay-wise,
Yeah.
you've intimated that at the moment we are now heavily represented with gays. In the first episode, in those early days, of course, it was illegal. There were you couldn't get gay pills on the NHS.
God, no.
Gay studies, they hadn't been invented at college and things. So if you wanted to be a gay, you really had to work at it until it became legal. But I don't know when the first gay character I can think of actually is Anthony Cotton's character. There was no subtext there. He was a gay.
Yeah.
But that was very late on, really. It was certainly mid to late 90s, was it?
Yeah. So I think, because the first regular gay character was Todd Grimshaw.
Oh, yes.
But Anthony Cotton's character was introduced as a friend of Todd's. And that, I think it was kind of through hanging out with Sean that Todd sort of realised that he might like men. So the first person who lived on Coronation Street who was gay was Todd. But I think Sean was established as a character, and although maybe didn't say it,
it was right out in the open. Yes. There wasn't any hidden subtext there.
No, but yes, there's quite a lot, and they do handle the gay stories quite well.
Well, I imagine they've got past the whole it's terribly hard coming out being a gay thing, because I'm hoping they've got past all that now, because they've done that a bit.
Yeah, there's not so much. I mean, I'm just trying to think. I don't think there's been a big coming out storyline for quite some time. There was one character who he was already established as gay, but he did have to come out to his family. But he was a professional footballer. So that
was Percy Sugden, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah, it was. The old flamer. Oh, Percy. But yeah, they do different kinds of gay storylines. But yeah, it's not all about the world is against me, because everyone on the street. there must be 20 gay characters in the regular cast.
God.
Now. It's possibly getting a bit
unrepresented.
Yeah. But the very first, when Todd Grimshaw, first came out, that was obviously a big deal. But the way that they handled that wasn't like we were talking about The Archers, where suddenly, no one's got a problem with it. When that first happened, there was a massive outcry, and most of the people, even his brother, refused to speak to him. Gail Platt, there's that famous clip of her and Eileen having a fight on the street, and she's calling Todd all kind of names when she finds out. And then his brother, who was a builder, comes down with his builder's kit on, and she goes, "Oh, here we are, the rest of the village people."
I was just about to tell you.
In Sarah's bed?
I'm sorry.
Sorry? I'll make you sorry.
Leave him alone!
Oh, Mom! You get my daughter pregnant, run off with another man, and all you can say is sorry.
Stop it!
We've nothing to be ashamed of, Sarah. It's him that's in the wrong, and I want everyone to know it.
Step inside. Gail, this is a bad situation for everyone. No one wanted this to happen.
I think it suits you. I think you planned it.
Don't be stupid.
Just get inside.
It was your idea to move into that flat. It was your idea to get married.
Because I loved
And
her.
Sarah couldn't believe her luck.
I still do.
It was your idea to have a baby.
Yeah, she didn't take much persuading, did she? She never does.
And you were happy because it's the only chance you're going to get of a grandchild of that pervert.
Go home, Gail.
Go on, Gail. Classic Corrie. They handled that. Even that, it was quite a major subject, but they handled it with humour.
Yeah,
and
which is the only way that Corrie can, really, or should.
Yeah.
Because there's a number of dramas where we have the serious. Just while it's fresh in my mind, is it either the Gail noise or the Audrey noise?
the Audrey noise. Yeah.
think there's anything else to say, do you?
It's very funny because I don't know whether now she does it on purpose, but I do know that because David Platt is obviously Audrey's grandson and he makes the noise. I don't know whether it's in the script for him or whether he's just decided that he's going to do it, but yeah, he does. And it's very funny. The guy who came up with that and who put that compilation together was Martin Hecht, who was killed in the Manchester Arena bombing. But he was a massive fan of Coronation Street. He had a tattoo of, I think it might have been of Deirdre on his leg, on his leg. But he was a massive fan. And now in the gardens bit of the new Coronation Street set, there's a bench dedicated to him. Every time it's the anniversary of the bombing, they always do something in the episode. Like, someone's there putting flowers on the bench or something, which I thought was quite
Also,
nice.
it's recognised in the series that he was killed in the bombings.
Yes. Yeah, the bench just says in memory of Martin and, and everyone who was killed in the bombing. But yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it is. It's quite a nice touch. They do, things like that, where they just bring in a little bit of the real world.
But Phil Collinson took over as producer for. I don't think he is anymore, but I know that once he was done with Doctor Who in sort of 2010 time, he ended up becoming executive producer for Corrie. And I noticed at that time I was with somebody who did watch it fairly religiously, and I noticed that there were a lot of nods and kisses to the past, like characters from the 60s were brought back.
Yeah.
Again, not very realistic for a street. Once people leave, they leave. They don't keep popping back. But I just thought it was nice that there was something in there for everybody, no matter how long you'd been watching the series for.
Yeah.
There was something in there. And even if you didn't know who these characters were, it's explained to you this was a Corrie regular back in the day.
Yeah.
And I liked all that. I seem to remember one particular thing sticks in my head. It was of Emily, Rita, and someone else, but three old women sat round having a pot of tea and a chat. I thought little moments like that, they just break up the slog.
Yes.
And so I hope that there are still those little light kisses, because I've introduced you to the Archers. The Archers have got what I consider to be a perfect mix of serious and silly.
Yeah.
I just want Corrie to be like that.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, like we said, it has to have its drama and its seriousness to compete with the big wigs. Big wigs, that's not the right phrase.
For the big guns.
Big guns.
But who is watching this? That's what I'd like to know. You've got EastEnders, which is just TV to slit your wrist by. Why do we need another?
Well, that's it, yeah. And I think it's a very difficult line for Coronation Street because, like you say, there's very few people who watch both Coronation Street and EastEnders. So the people who watch Coronation Street are watching it because it isn't EastEnders. So you don't want to turn it into EastEnders.
Yeah.
But the people who watch Coronation Street because it's cosy and 60s are
dead.
Not going to be around for very long. But I do think they are keeping the balance quite right. It does have its moments where you think, oh, come on, but then there'll be a scene with, I don't know if you know the character of Mary.
Don't think so.
Yeah, she's been around. She's probably been in it for about 15, 20 years.
She's not the one who used to live in a caravan.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, she's just ridiculous, but she works with Tracy Barlow in the flower shop. And she is friends with George, who is the funeral director. And so she's got links with all the different... So there's always an opportunity for a scene with her. And I mean, she's just ridiculous. So, you know that whenever she's in there, there's going to be something, it is going to be silly. But even, I mean, there's a story at the moment. The character, Kevin Webster's sister, Debbie, who's Johnny Briggs's sister. I don't know if you remember.
What, Mike Baldwin?
No. See, that I can see where the confusion came.
Oh, you mean Johnny Briggs?
Yeah, not the Johnny Briggs. Johnny Briggs. So the woman who was Johnny Briggs's sister.
Oh, Sue Devaney.
Yes. Well, she's Debbie Webster in Coronation Street. And she's been in it for ages. And her character is a really strong but very funny character. And she has just been diagnosed with dementia. But they're not handling it in like let's completely change her character and make this a really depressing thing. They're making it into a kind of a fun romp through dementia, if you will. But they're handling a really serious issue with a character who nobody wants to die, but with a lot of sort of fun.
You mean a bit like Mike Baldwin?
Well,
where
yeah.
it was a comedy turn that he'd got Alzheimer's until he died quite unpleasantly.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a sad side to dementia, kids.
Yeah, it's not all fun and games. Remember. Or if you're Mike Baldwin, don't remember.
Let's rate Corrie in feather boas. How many are you giving it?
Well, it's never been too far from my heart. Even when I've gone through phases of not watching it, I still love it. Particularly, as I say, at the moment, it takes quite a bit of commitment. But I really like having recorded it, getting up before everyone else on a Saturday morning, coming downstairs, cup of tea, catching up on Corrie for a bit, and just, having that few moments and then getting mad when everyone else gets up and I've still got 2 hours of it to watch. And they're all thundering around the house. But yeah, so because I think it has had a really big impact, and also bearing in mind what ratings I've given to other TV shows in the past that I've probably enjoyed less than Coronation Street, I have no option but to give it 5 feather boas.
Yeah, well, I am going to give it 5 out of 5 as well. I'm not a fan, I don't watch it, but in terms of soap operas in general are quite important. They're sort of catalogues of life at the time. And Corrie scores extra points by being, well, originally it was set in Lancashire, now it's set in Greater Manchester.
Yes.
Or Weatherfordshire or wherever. So it does have a special place in my heart for being Northern. But on the back of that, it's time for Screening Queens. I have recently watched something called The Road to Coronation Street, and I loved it. What an amazing... Made by the BBC.
Yes.
For ITV. Interesting. But it was the history of, or the story of how Coronation Street came into being. It's something the BBC does exceptionally well, and it was magical. It was really well cast. I had no idea that Tony Warren was a gay, and only 23 when he wrote the outline and the plot and devised the series.
Oh, wow.
Yes. It's quite an old thing, though. It's 2010, I think, it was produced.
For the 50th. Was it done for around about the 50th?
Yeah, it was. It was done for the 50th, and I'm ashamed it's taken me this long to watch it, because what a beautiful piece of television. So it'll be out there somewhere. I don't know if it's not. It'll be on either a proper streaming site or the Tube, but it's well worth 80 minutes of your time, because I was captivated by it.
Excellent. And a nice throwback to the golden days of Coronation Street. Excellent. Well, we'll go and dust off our leopard print tabards and watch that.
Bette Lynch. Oh, dear. Yeah, still alive at the time of recording, and yeah.
Oh, Julie.
Julie Goodyear. But yes, on that note, on that 9-bob note.
Indeed.
Raising a glass to 65 years of Coronation Street.
Cheers.
We'll see you next time.
Ta-ra.
Nine Bob Note featured Paul Isles-Rush and Ken Moss. Title music was by Mark Scheiman, and the programme was produced by Maverick Productions. For more information, please visit maverickproductionsuk.blogspot.com or find us on social media.